Hi, I'm Bob Levine. I'm president of Zistos Corporation, and I'm here today with John Kennedy, one of the principal engineers, to discuss some of the issues with regard to our design. John, one of the things that keeps coming up in our discussion about our products is people keep asking us why we don't use wireless technology in our tactical surveillance products. And I know you've given it a lot of thought, and maybe you can elaborate and tell us a little bit why you've come to the decision to structure the system the way they are right now.
Right, there are many factors that go into designing a tactical system to be both safe and reliable. And one of those is knowing when and when not to use wireless video. We do not use wireless video here because they're subject to many problems. The biggest problem is that it's susceptible to interference. These days the airwaves are very crowded. We have Wi-Fi routers everywhere, Bluetooth, cell towers, cell phones, all competing for the same airspace. Even things like microwave ovens and power lines produce RF interference. So maybe that system that you bought and trained with over the training facility in that abandoned building worked just fine that day. Today you pull up to a crowded apartment building and who knows what to expect. We like to use the 1/3 rule here. 1/3 of the time that wireless system will probably work just fine. 1/3 there'll be some interference and it might not work so well, but it'll still be usable. And the last third, it'll be so bad it's useless. And that's why we stick with wires, guaranteed to work 100% of the time.
What about detection, John? How easy is it to remotely detect the use of these wireless transmitters?
Well, that's another problem with wireless video. Today you can go on the internet and for $15 you can buy a little device that'll tell you the presence of wireless video. Or you could buy a more sophisticated device like this, still readily available on the internet, give you more information, but you immediately know when the tactical team is in the area.
And that's just something that just plugs into a regular iPhone, it looks like.
Yes. Very simple, a little more sophisticated than the other thing, but you immediately know the presence of the tactical team, thereby compromising their safety. Right, here we have an example of an RF detector that we purchased off the internet, and as you can see, it's just a module that plugs into the side of the iPhone, comes with that application program which is reporting what's happening in the airwaves. We're going to turn on a transmitter that's typically used in the tactical industry and show you what happens to the screen. It's like a night and day, showing you that wireless transmission is in the area.
We're very easily to detect when law enforcement personnel may be operating with a tactical surveillance tool in near proximity. What about the security of a wireless transmission? How secure are they?
Yeah, the third problem with wireless video is that it's very easy to intercept. You can buy a device on the internet that'll scan the RF airwaves and look for any video. So anybody can do that, including news crews. News crews can record it to play it back later. They can broadcast it live on TV. And who would want that? It would be compromising everybody's situation and giving away the tactics of the team. And here's an example of one of those RF video scanners that we purchased off the internet for $150. And right now it's scanning the airwaves looking for any video signal. All right, so we're going to turn on the video transmitter now and watch the scanner. It's indicating that it found a signal, and now it's going to display it.
Another issue that keeps coming up that I hear talk about is the potential for using a wireless transmitter for a tactical surveillance tool as a remote RF trigger to detonate an IED and therefore, kill law enforcement and military personnel. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
Yes, that's what I would call the fourth biggest problem with wireless video. Those same RF detectors that I spoke about earlier can be fashioned to make a detonating device for an explosive. Just this past week, for a training exercise, we helped the police department create such a device. They wanted an RF signal to set off the explosion. So they built this and planted it, and then when an officer was in proximity and turned on his wireless device, set off the explosive. And
this was easy for you to put together for them?
Very simple. It's just like two components off the internet for $30 each, or $30 total.
I've also heard there are some, other information floating out there that shows people with even just a home hobbyist knowledge of electronics on how to create these little triggers using a handful of components.
Yes, it's actually very easy, and again, with the internet, it makes so much more possible. And here we have a mock IED device that we built to demonstrate how easy it is to build and use an RF trigger for a bomb. And right now we're going to turn on that wireless transmitter and you're going to see what happens.
Are there any applications in tactical scenarios where wireless does make sense?
Yes, there are, and knowing when to use them is important. We don't use them in the handheld systems, but we will use them for the remote cameras, such as 4-point surveillance, where that's away from the officers. We use them for long-range telemetry, again, where people are not holding them.
Can you tell me what is the downside of wires?
There's really very little. I mean, it does add a little extra weight, and some people might argue that it's a little cumbersome, but it really is just a single wire which exits the pole or camera and goes to your monitor. The plus side are tremendous. It is not subject to interference, it is not detectable, it cannot detonate a bomb, and it cannot be intercepted.
And of course, the way you train with it is the way you use it in the field. So
Oh, yes.
you're already using it the way it's been designed to use. You're not plugging in wires in as an afterthought because the RF doesn't work or is problematic.
Yes, our systems are designed around the wires. We use heavy-duty, rugged, waterproof connectors. They're very difficult to break, and they can work in all sorts of inclement weather.
So John, what else have you done to optimize the system for use in a wired configuration as its primary means of video transmission?
Well, first we selected connectors that are both rugged and waterproof. Waterproof meaning they can be used in any kind of inclement weather. You don't have to worry about it raining or not. And our monitors are designed to be sealed so that when the connector is not plugged in, you don't have to worry about having a gaping hole there. And they latch. A lot of commercial connectors that people use pull right out and leave gaping holes there because they're not sealed.
And the gaping holes are a problem, why?
Well, you don't want water to get into your electronics of your monitor or other equipment that's going to destroy them.
I see. So it keeps it more environmentally sealed. John, thank you very much for sharing your ideas on the design of the Zistos tactical surveillance system parameters and wireless video. And if anybody has any questions, please feel free to give us a call. And if you'd like additional information, visit our website at www.zistos.com. Thank you very much for your time.